In the heart of Chicago, amidst the grandeur of the Parliament of Religions, Swami Vivekananda's words began to weave a powerful narrative of unity and spirituality. His voice, rich with the wisdom of the ages, challenged and inspired an entire continent. Welcome to the continuation of our journey through the life of Swami Vivekananda. In this episode, we explore the transformative impact of his speeches at the Parliament of Religions. Witness how his profound insights on Hinduism and universal harmony captivated the Western world, and how his message of spiritual and social upliftment made him a beacon of hope and inspiration. Join us as we uncover the impact of his teachings and the public's enthusiastic response to his groundbreaking addresses. Swami Vivekananda addressed the Parliament about a dozen times. His outstanding address was a paper on Hinduism in which he discussed Hindu metaphysics, psychology, and theology. The divinity of the soul, the oneness of existence, the non-duality of the Godhead, and the harmony of religions were the recurring themes of his message. He taught that the final goal of man is to become divine by realizing the divine, and that human beings are the children of immortal bliss. In the final session of the Parliament, Swami Vivekananda said in the conclusion of his speech, "The Christian is not to become a Hindu or a Buddhist, nor is a Hindu or a Buddhist to become a Christian, but each must assimilate the spirit of the others and yet preserve his individuality and grow according to his own law of growth." If the Parliament of Religions has shown anything to the world, it is this. It has proved to the world that holiness, purity, and charity are not the exclusive possessions of any church in the world, and that every system has produced men and women of the most exalted character. In the face of this evidence, if anybody dreams of the exclusive survival of his own religion and the destruction of the others, I pity him from the bottom of my heart and point out to him that upon the banner of every religion will soon be written, in spite of resistance, help and not fight, assimilation and not destruction, harmony and peace and not dissension. The Parliament of Religions offered Swami Vivekananda the long-desired opportunity to present before the Western world the eternal and universal truths of his Aryan ancestors. And he rose to the occasion. As he stood on the platform to give his message, he formed, as it were, the confluence of two great streams of thought, the two ideals that had molded human culture. The vast audience before him represented exclusively the Occidental mind, young, alert, restless, inquisitive, tremendously honest, well-disciplined, and at ease with the physical universe, but skeptical about the profundities of the super-sensuous world and unwilling to accept spiritual truths without rational proof. And behind him lay the ancient world of India, with its diverse religious and philosophical discoveries, with its saints and prophets who investigated reality through self-control and contemplation, unruffled by the passing events of the transitory life and absorbed in contemplation of the eternal verities. Vivekananda's education, upbringing, personal experiences, and contact with the God-man of modern India had preeminently fitted him to represent both ideals and to remove their apparent conflict. To Vivekananda, the religion of the Hindus, based upon the teachings of the Vedas, appeared adequate to create the necessary synthesis. By the Vedas, he did not mean any particular book containing the words of a prophet or deriving sanction from a supernatural authority, but the accumulated treasure of spiritual laws discovered by various Indian seers in different times. Just as the law of gravitation existed before its discovery and would continue to exist even if all humanity forgot it, so do the laws that govern the spiritual world exist independently of our knowledge of them. The moral, ethical, and spiritual relations between soul and between individual spirits and the Father of all spirits were in existence before their discovery and will remain even if we forget them. Regarding the universal character of the Hindu faith, the Swami said, "From the high spiritual flights of the Vedanta philosophy, of which the latest discoveries of science seem like echoes, to the low ideas of idolatry with its multifarious mythology, the agnosticism of the Buddhists and the atheism of the Jains, each and all have a place in Hindu religion. The young unknown monk of India was transformed overnight into an outstanding figure of the religious world. From obscurity he leapt to fame. His life-size portraits were posted in the streets of Chicago with words "The Monk Vivekananda" written beneath them, and many passers-by would stop to do reverence with bowed heads. Dr. J. H. Barrows, chairman of the General Committee of the Parliament of Religions, said, "Swami Vivekananda exercised a wonderful influence over his auditors, and Mr. Merwin Marie." Snell stated more enthusiastically, "By far the most important and typical representative of Hinduism was Swami Vivekananda, who in fact was beyond question the most popular and influential man in the Parliament. He was received with greater enthusiasm than any other speaker, Christian or pagan. The people thronged about him wherever he went and hung with eagerness on his every word. The most rigid of Orthodox Christians say of him, 'He is indeed a prince among men.' Newspapers published his speeches, and they were read with warm interest all over the country. The New York Herald said, 'He is undoubtedly the greatest figure in the Parliament of Religions. After hearing him, we feel how foolish it is to send missionaries to this learned nation.' The Boston Evening Post said, 'He is a great favorite at the Parliament from the grandeur of his sentiments and his appearance as well. If he merely crosses the platform, he is applauded, and this marked approval of thousands he accepts in a childlike spirit of gratification without a trace of conceit.' At the Parliament of Religions, they used to keep Vivekananda until the end of the program to make people stay till the end of the session. The 4,000 fanning people in the Hall of Columbus would sit smiling and expectant, waiting for an hour or two to listen to Vivekananda for 15 minutes. The chairman knew the old rule of keeping the best until the last. It is one of the outstanding traits of Americans to draw out the latent greatness of other people. America discovered Vivekananda and made a gift of him to India and the world. The reports of the Parliament of Religions were published in the Indian magazines and newspapers. The Swami's vindication of the Hindu faith filled with pride the hearts of his countrymen from Colombo to Almora, from Kolkata to Bombay. The brother monks at the Baranagar monastery were not, at first, clear about the identity of Vivekananda. A letter from the Swami, 6 months after the Parliament, removed all doubts, however, and how proud they felt at the achievement of their beloved Narain. But how did Vivekananda himself react to this triumph, which had been the fulfillment of his long-cherished desire? He knew that his solitary life as a monk in constant communion with God was at an end. He could no longer live in obscurity with his dreams and visions. Instead of dwelling in peace and serenity, he was thrown into the vortex of a public career with its ceaseless turmoil and demands. When he returned to his hotel the night after the first meeting of the Parliament, he wept like a child. After he had delivered his message in the Parliament, the Swami suffered no longer from material wants. The doors of the wealthy were thrown open. Their lavish hospitality made him sick at heart when he remembered the crushing poverty of his own people. His anguish became so intense one night that he rolled on the floor, groaning, "Oh, mother, what do I care for name and fame when my motherland remains sunk in utmost poverty? To what a sad pass have we poor Indians come when millions of us die for want of a handful of rice. And here they spend millions of rupees upon their personal comfort. Who will raise the masses of India? Who will give them bread? Show me, O mother, how I can help them." While addressing one session of the Parliament, the Swami had said that what India needed was not religion, but bread. Now he began to study American life in its various aspects, especially the secret of the country's high standard of living, and he communicated to his disciples in India his views on the promotion of her material welfare. Swami Vivekananda was invited by a lecture bureau to tour the United States, and he accepted the offer. He wanted money in order to free himself from obligation to his wealthy friends and also to help his various philanthropic and religious projects in India. Further, He thought that through a lecture bureau, he could effectively broadcast his ideas all over the American continent and thus remove from people's minds erroneous notions regarding Hindu religion and society. Soon he was engaged in a whirlwind tour covering the largest cities of the East and the Middle West. People called him the Cyclonic Hindu. He visited, among other places, Iowa City, Des Moines, Memphis, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, Detroit, Buffalo, Hartford, Boston, Cambridge, New York, Baltimore, and Washington. Cherishing a deep affection for the members of the Hale family, he made his headquarters with George W. Hale in Chicago. But his path was not always strewn with rose petals. Vivekananda was an outspoken man. Whenever he found in American society signs of brutality, inhumanity, pettiness, arrogance, and ignorance concerning cultures other than its own, he mercilessly criticized them. Often small-minded people asked him irritating questions about India based upon malicious and erroneous reports, and the Swami fell upon them like a thunderbolt. But woe to the man, wrote the Iowa State Register, who undertook to combat the monk on his own ground, and that was where they all tried it who tried it at all. His replies came like flashes of lightning, and the venturesome questioner was sure to be impaled on the Indian's shining intellectual lance. Vivekananda and his cause found a place in the hearts of all true Christians. Many Christian ministers became his warm friends and invited him to speak in their churches. In our next episode, we turn to a more controversial and intense phase of his life. Join us as we explore Swami Vivekananda's courageous criticisms of religious hypocrisy and his unflinching defense of genuine spirituality. We will examine the backlash he faced, his bold responses, and the profound impact he had on both his followers and critics. Stay tuned for an insightful look into this pivotal chapter of his remarkable journey. Thank you for listening till the end. Please subscribe, turn on the notifications, like, comment, and share with your friends. This will help more listeners to discover our channel and content.